Ryan Day spoke yesterday, and this is what he said about
the coaches show.
The coaches show, yep. What Ryan Day said about the expectations. He said there's one expectation tomorrow.
Well, I think you just try to share your experiences with these guys of what you've seen. And I think in first games, especially a game like this, it's easy to have expectations. And the only expectation is to win. Guys can get in their feelings because if you take, a whole group of guys who are going on the field, they all have these great expectations of how it's going to go. But when you're playing against an excellent opponent like we're going to play, it's not going to go the way you think, coaches and players included. So we have got to take one play at a time, play as hard as we can, stick together, and find a way to win. And that's it. And so if you just try to, bring things like that to light, make sure they understand what to focus on going in. And then obviously the big thing is avoiding distractions. Because I think there are a lot of distractions, especially for young players.
I love the way that Ryan Day has approached this season when he kind of set the tone early on, like, we're not defending anything.
Going to win again.
Yeah, we're not defending, but we're not defending a trophy because that trophy's not going anywhere no matter what.
No.
I like that fact that he did that.
Collecting trophies.
Yes. This is something else Ryan Day talked about, the talent that Texas has.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have great backs. Both backs are excellent. Obviously, Arch is excellent. They're, the tight end that they brought in is a really good player. The offensive line, I know those guys were highly recruited players. The wideouts are fast. On defense, Hill and Simmons are tremendous. The back end returns a lot of guys. The Moore is a really good, guy off the edge. And, they have really good players. These are some of the most highly recruited players in the country, and they do a great job of developing. So, a lot of good players. We know that. And that's what we've been preparing for, and anytime you play in matchup games. I mean, the good news is there's a lot of guys out there that we have played against. But like you said, a lot of new faces on both sides.
Bob, I think that, and, Lee talked about, and you mentioned also, the talent thing, maybe Texas has more talent. I don't know. It's close. It should be close. It should be close as far as level of talent. But I think Ohio State's defense is vastly, I don't say underrated. I shouldn't say vastly. But I think that Ohio State's defense
isn't given the respect that they should be. With the potential talent. There's a lot of unknowns.
Right.
But you have Caleb Downs, who is widely regarded as one of the, if not the top defensive player in college football. You have Sonny Styles returning, who was Mr. Everything coming out and has played really well and is only going to improve. David Singman-Newsom, who played pretty well last year. Jermaine Matthews, who played a lot last year. Mm-hmm. Kenyatta Jackson was one of the top 50 players in the country when he came in. Caden Curry, very highly recruited guy. You have those guys. Arvell Reese is as, if not more athletic than Sonny. They're very comparable to each other. You look at their numbers and you watch them move. There are things that those guys can do in tandem that not many people can. So this notion that Texas has this great athletic advantage, I'm not seeing it. Ohio State, I think, has the four. I don't know. I would love to see another team in the country that I think has four better outside corners than Ohio State. So there's a lot of things that they possess that would lead me to believe they're on the same platitude. Now, yeah, maybe there's going to be some advantages here or there. That's just always going to be the case. But to say that Texas, you think people are better at most position groups, I don't think that's true.
Do you expect Ohio State's aggressiveness on defense to be to be different than last year?
It'll be different, but they'll be aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be aggressive all the time. Matt Patricia is going to change it up.
Right.
But yeah, there'll be times where they get after it. There'll be times where they pull off. I think you're going to probably see a lot of different stuff because Matt Patricia, you look at him historically, trying to figure out what he does is very hard.
We're going to learn a lot about Julian Sayin and Arch Manning after they get hit hard the first time, after they make their first mistake.
Everybody has a plan until they get hit.
That's exactly right. I've heard that. Was that one in
Michael Scott?
Was that one in Rocky V also? No, Rocky V. Not how many times you get knocked down, so how many times you get up. Was that Rocky?
That's in Rocky Balboa.
Rocky Balboa. Okay.
It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
I've seen that clip. I've never seen that movie, Rocky Balboa.
That's a good one. That's
is?
one of his probably best lines he delivers in all the movies.
See, now,
life is hard. It'll beat you to your knees if you let it. But it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
See, I can't argue with you on that because I've only seen 3 and 4 and then the Creed movies. So I
never saw 5?
I never saw 5.
I'll give you a little teaser for Monday's Today in History. Tommy Morrison passing away.
Oh, look out. That dude.
A.K.A. Tommy Gunn.
Yeah. I remember seeing clips on that one, too. And they got in the alley, right?
Yeah. Turned into a street fight.
Yeah. He was almost
died of AIDS.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Although he claimed he never had it. I don't know if you know that or not. He fought to the end. He said, "I don't know AIDS." That's
good for him.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's not a lie if you believe it.
That's very true. Here's Ryan Day talking about the trust he has in his coaching staff.
You know, you still have to be in all the special teams and making sure you have a presence with the defense. But we do have a new quarterback, and Brian's calling plays for the first time. So I would say that the majority of my time is with the offense right now. But it's great to be able to spend time at night and decompress with Matt and just talk through some of the things he's seeing, and he's handling it like you would think a pro would. Tim Walton has a huge handle on it, so does Larry Johnson. And I feel like on special teams, Rob Keyes has really stepped up. Nate Emner's helped out there, Gunner's helping out. So it's a team effort. And I think every year we're together more and more. Guys are more and more experienced, understand what we want, what to expect. I feel like our practices are moving at a pretty efficient rate, but now we got to go play. And we got to figure out where we're at, make the corrections, and go on from there.
I think, yeah, Bob, the other the rest of the coaching staff, it sounds and feels like Dave's got just immense amount of trust in all of them.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of confidence in those guys. I mean, Matt Patricia was a head coach in the NFL.
Right.
And to varying degrees of success, but ever having sat in that chair and having to deal with that criticism, he understands. And then those guys talk and they go back and forth like, hey, why are you doing this against us? Why are you doing that? Why do you run this defense? Why do you attack our defense this way? And so there's a lot of collaboration, a lot of conversation about what hurts this, what impacts that, going back and forth. And both, it's amazing, because when these guys come here, I've been fortunate to be around Ryan since the day he got here. When you come as an assistant, so my dad always said, he goes, you get a different relationship with assistant coach than you do with a head coach. He's like, that's why he always had such a good relationship with Parcells. He's like, he was the linebacker coach when I got there.
Right.
He's like, we were going and doing one-on-ones with him and everything, talking trash back and forth. And then they make him the head coach. And he's like, that changes. And everybody else that came in always saw him as the head coach. He's like, to me, he was a linebacker coach,
Sure.
who's just now running the show. And getting a chance to get to know Ryan, as an OC, and then obviously seeing how he operates. But all the coaches, when the guys came in, they just hired Boyer, who came in, who was the D coordinator at Miami. He was in New England with Patricia and me. He's an Ohio guy. Heath guy, Bodie.
Oh, yeah, I rember you mentioned that before.
And I asked these guys, and I'm like, I always ask, what are your thoughts on Ryan after they get here for about a month? And, great guy, first of all. And he's incredible. And then the next line is just how incredibly smart he is as a football coach. And so then the conversations that you're able to have with that. And listen, there are a lot of coaches that are able to get to positions of authority at big-time schools that may not be the most, brilliant football minds. And maybe they're able to have, their leadership components and managing the program. And I always tell Penn State fans this because they get mad about James Franklin. I'm like, James Franklin does a great job managing the program. I don't know if you want James Franklin sitting down and playing a game of high-level chess schematically with some other elite coaches across college football, but he does a great job managing the program, and he knows who good coaches are and hires them to take care of that for him. But Ryan Day is one of the unique guys who does a great job of managing the program, but his X's and O's are elite. His knowledge of the game and understanding what works against what, and here's your counter punches and all of these different things, how to get to different formations and different route combinations and different run stuff in the run game is second to none. And that's the two great things that people always find out about Ryan when they get here. Awesome human, great father, great husband, guy you love to work for. And then right after that, without taking a breath, no commas, no punctuation, he is an incredibly smart football mind. And so when you have those two things, there's going to be a lot of trust that you can have, and then you can talk to other people you can recognize people who also have great football minds. Hey, and go let them do their job. Matt Patricia, it's not like he was a position coach somewhere. I mean, he's run a defense for 15 plus years, and he was a head coach in the NFL. Guy knows his stuff. He knows how to run a room. He knows how to handle a staff, and those guys, and worked through all the different nuances of personalities and what everybody's always going to defend their room, and how to be so collaborative with Tim Walton and Matt Guerrieri and figure that out and marry the front end and back end. That, hey, you guys go do your stuff. And if you don't do a good job, then we'll have a conversation.
Right.
We'll talk about what the game plan is, what are you thinking, what we're thinking, how we need to win this game, but do your job. And I'm not going to micromanage you.
When I look at Patricia, and, obviously the only time I really met him and talked to him, the only time I did meet and talk to him was out there at the practice. We were out there. And I got to believe he's happier now doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Than he was as a head coach for the Lions.
Oh, yeah. Being a head coach, that's not, you just get paid more. That's all it really is. Your happiness quotient probably goes down significantly. If you have.
Depends on the organization, though, too.
Depends on the organization.
The support you have.
But also depends on, your head coaching, your coordinating experience. Coordinating for Ryan's great because you don't have to deal with anything.
Yeah.
He lets you do your job. Not going to micromanage you. If you have a coach that's always on top of you, then yeah, maybe I want to be the head coach so then I can set everything, and there's stuff that I've always wanted to change and this and that. But I would say the best thing to be is a coordinator or a position coach for a guy that you have immense respect for, who's a great human being, because you get all the good, and yeah, you might not be getting paid as much, but you also aren't getting paid to deal with those other big problems too.
Sure.
You don't have to go over there and deal with all the nonsense and handle all that and deal with the crap with Fox and everything else that's going on. You just get to show up and do your job.
Do you think Ryan Day will ever be a head coach in the NFL? I don't know. Ever's a mighty long time.
Ever's a long time, and I think that depends if Ryan Day wants to be a head coach in the NFL, and I don't know if that's the case. I'm not sure. I've never overtly asked him whether that was. I think at one time that was probably an aspirational goal. Mm-hmm. Just like Urban's goal, probably at one point he said was to be the head coach at Notre Dame. He thought that was the greatest job. As you get into things and things change in your life. You have family, you start doing other things, and you start looking around do I want to build that? There was good things in the NFL. There's also bad things. There's good things about college football. There's also bad things. If Ohio State was a professional football team, there's a chance that Ryan Day may have been fired already. I mean, you don't see guys last as long as they have. And so when you have kids and you live in a place that you enjoy 50 some weeks a year, and your kids like it here a lot of the time, and they get to grow up with stability and in a great place that's not too far from home and not all that dissimilar to where you grew up, that comes into the equation of, are you happy? And the old adage, don't mess with happiness.
Right.
There's a lot of truth to that. There's things that may be better other places or perceived to be better, and you get there and you realize, yeah, there might be a little bit of better to them, but there's a whole lot of worse.
It used to be the differences between being a college football head coach and an NFL head coach. It used to be the gap was wide. It was a big difference.
A gape.
Okay, a gape.
Such a big gap, it turned into a gape.
That's what it is.
Better than the gap.
And also better than the vape. But nonetheless, Bobby. And so for some coaches, I think that would appeal as at that point when the gape existed, the challenge of doing that. But now as it's gotten closer to the NFL model.
Somebody's closer.
I think that for some coaches, they look at it and probably would say, you know what, it's not that much different than what I'm doing now. I kind of like where I'm at. Ryan Day in every game he coaches, almost every game he coaches, is going to have a talent advantage.
Lee said that's not true. Paul Feinbaum said it's not even close.
That's why I said almost every game. In almost every game, Ryan Day coaches for Ohio State. He will have better talent than the other team.
97% of the time.
Right.
And the other three, it's probably about equal. There may be a 0.5% in there where when they played Alabama in 2020,
right,
they were a better team.
Yeah.
But
that offense was a machine.
Yeah, but
that wasn't an offense. That was a literal machine.
Yeah, and that's
Jalen Waddle got hurt. Devontae got hurt.
Come on in.
Don't matter.
Right.
guys.
So
just keep scoring.
Like that right there, that would not happen in the NFL, where 95% of the games you've got more talent than the other guy.
No, the NFL is designed where nobody has more talent than anybody else. And if you do have great players, sometimes it's best to trade them.
Just give them away.
Bob, if you get better, though. Because I heard Jerry say this might turn into 5 really good players because the cap space that they could sign the 3 players with and 2 first-round picks. I mean,
imagine if they draft an all-pro edge rusher with one of those first-round picks.
I feel like that's one of their holes now.
You can have the boat or the mystery box.
Yeah, I think that's what they need now.
What if the mystery box is a boat?
Could Ryan Day make Michael Scott a competent assistant coach?
Listen, Michael Scott was
a leader. World's best boss.
His branch was the best one.
Yeah.
World's best boss.
World's greatest boss.
I'd put him at number 2 now, but
I don't know if you can make people competent coaches. I think you hire people you deem to be competent and then groom them into being effective coaches. By the way, everybody has a plan until they get hit. I attribute that to Muhammad Ali. It's Mike Tyson.
Well, it's okay. I gave it to Rocky Balboa first, and I got it wrong, too, so not a big deal.
Fictional character.
Yes.
It was an actual boxer that said it.
Stallone was a boxer. Rocky
was a
was
movie
boxer.
character.
Knocked
out
and you won't get
dude in The Hangover.
You won't get that question I just asked you, Bob, on any other morning show in the country today. If
the question is that
Ryan Day could make Michael Scott a competent assistant coach.
I would say you're probably right in that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's good or bad, but also I did appreciate the fact you brought up the Urban, his dream as a coach at Notre Dame, and Bodie gave out a little sigh there and wearing his Notre Dame shirt. I thought it was clever by you to twist the knife in a little bit for him.
It's not twisting the knife. I mean, I said something. I don't know if you would, this isn't a knock on Urban, because they fire Ryan Day and bring him back. I don't know if his style really is would be productive at this point in college football. And there's a reason why, people get in and out of things and they change stuff and they just evolve. There's a reason why Nick Saban didn't want to coach anymore. He'd won a lot of titles and just you don't necessarily want to deal with some of the nonsense that you had to deal with before.